You're watching the latest Cyprus news from financialmirror.tv. Borrowing rates are likely to remain high in the foreseeable future, despite a reduction in the official lending rates orchestrated by central banks, according to a senior banker. Spyros Philaretos, chairman of Alpha Bank Cyprus, said the interbank market is not as active and liquid as it used to be, which limits banks from raising money to meet their needs. The lack of funds from the interbank market is pushing banks to raise deposit rates in order to attract money, which is why Philaretos believes borrowing costs will remain high as long as alternative funding sources remain limited. The inflation rate fell rapidly in November, mainly as a result of falling international oil and food prices. The Consumer Price Index dropped 1% from the previous month, with the Statistical service saying that this is mainly due to a fall in prices of petroleum products, electricity, gas, and certain fresh vegetables. Increases were recorded in the prices of clothing and footwear, potatoes, and newspapers. The annual consumer price inflation rate fell to 3.4% in November from 5.2% in October and a peak of 5.6% in July. New company registrations fell to 22,710 at the end of November, following a record 29,000 registrations in 2007, as the process is simplified and is quicker to set up shop in Cyprus than ever before. To date, there are 206,000 companies registered in Cyprus, nearly triple the number from a decade ago. Registrar of Companies, Spyros Kokinos, told the Financial Mirror that it now takes only 2 or 3 days for an application to go through. This should help attract foreign investors. Despite the improvement from 2 or 3 months needed to register a company, lawyers and accountants are unconvinced by the official statements, saying it still takes 7 to 10 days and just as many days to process the necessary documentation. The registrar blamed the delays on incomplete applications submitted by lawyers and accountants, adding that the company house was processing new registrations faster than in rival tax jurisdictions Malta, Ireland, Luxembourg, Cyprus's main competitors. The flow of money into government coffers continued at a highly satisfactory pace from January to November, with total receipts up 9.6% year-on-year to 2.35 billion euros. The inflow was boosted by higher VAT receipts that surged 13% to 1.74 billion euros, while total income from indirect taxes was up 1.5% and government revenue from direct taxes was up 2%. Trade relations between Cyprus and Greece are growing constantly and significantly, according to a government official. Commerce, Industry and Tourism Minister Antonios Paschalidis said at a seminar that the volume of exports to Greece and the volume of imports from Greece have more than doubled in the past 4 years. As regards tourism, he said that Greece is still the top destination for Cypriot travelers, rising to 438,000 in 2007, with a relative increase in Greek tourists to Cyprus that totaled 140,000 last year. Paschalidis also referred to the excellent prospects in the field of investment, with total investments from Greece to Cyprus amounting to 1 billion euros in 2007, mainly in the financial services, trade, construction, tourism, and real estate sectors. Hoteliers want the government to abandon plans to build a new hotel and conference center in Nicosia in 4 years' time, arguing that low occupancy rates in the capital will drive the project to failure. The Association of Cyprus Tourist Enterprises, STEK, is against plans to demolish the derelict Philoxenia hotel and build a new luxury hotel in its place, with funding from Qatar, while renovating the adjoining conference center. Hoteliers said that plans were already underway to build a new state-of-the-art conference center in the coastal town of Limassol in time for when Cyprus takes over the EU presidency in 2012. STEK suggested that the Philoxenia be repaired and a quality hotel school be housed there to train hotel employees in the winter months to help solve the problem of the lack of trained manpower in the industry. On to some corporate news now. The European Investment Bank is providing 30 million euros to the Electricity Authority of Cyprus for a new internal combustion power plant as part of the European agency's program for energy security and efficiency in the region. In 2007, EIB invested 120 million euros in Cyprus, mainly in the environment sector, while lending over the past 10 years has reached 1.4 billion euros, primarily for energy and electricity products. The Elektroniki chain of household and electronic appliance stores plans to increase its market share in Cyprus to over 10% through the pair of megastores it operates in Nicosia and Limassol, and with 2 new store openings in 2009. The plan coincides with the company's aggressive expansion plan beyond the 63 stores it operates in Greece, Cyprus, and Serbia, spearheaded with the name change that took place a few months ago. The company, quoted on the ASE since 1999, already commands a 15% market share in Greece and a further 3% through the single megastore in Belgrade. The Court of Appeals has ratified a Supreme Court decision in favor of Aspis Holdings and against the insurance superintendent's refusal to allow the company's participation in the share capital of Universal Life Insurance. Aspis will now seek damages from the state to the tune of 65 million euros. In February 2007, Aspis sought permission to raise its stake in Universal Life from 33% to 50%, which was rejected by the Superintendent of Insurance, Victoria Natar. The company had argued that the decision was unfair and prejudiced. Cyprus Airways said it will cut its fuel surcharge for a second time in a month due to the fall in international oil prices. The state-controlled airline said it was knocking off another €4 each way to all destinations and is valid for travel before January 1st. The company also said that after taking delivery of a newly leased Airbus A319 last month, it will now sell one of its older A320s for $5.6 million. It also has an option to sell 2 more A320s at the same price. The whole deal should benefit the airline with a profit of €1.8 million per aircraft sold. And finally, in this week's technology news, Eurostat said that nearly half of all households in Cyprus had access to the internet in the first quarter of the year, up from 39% from a year ago, but still below the EU 27 average of 60%. On the other hand, the number of Cypriot households with broadband access jumped sharply to 33% in the first quarter of 2008 from 20% a year ago, helping it to catch up to the EU 27 average broadband connection rate of 48%. Thank you for once again watching FinancialMirror.tv.